Are there any supplements you can take to help your tennis elbow heal? Hi, this is Alan Willett, your tennis elbow tutor. It's a question I'm often asked in emails, in my members forum, and in my practice treating tennis elbow sufferers directly. Or more specifically, is there anything I should be taking to support my healing process? Any vitamins, nutrients, or supplements that will give me some pain relief and help me recover from my tennis elbow injury faster? Now, many people want to avoid toxic anti-inflammatories for very good reasons, and they're looking for natural alternatives, of course, for both pain relief and to support their healing process. And of course, what should I take or eat is a very important question. Good nutrition always matters in general, and certainly when you're trying to heal and recover from an injury. The problem is that desperate tennis and golfer's elbow sufferers often tend to get a little carried away, and it seems to lead too many down a spiraling rabbit hole chasing miracle cures. Because you'll come across all sorts of claims on the internet about this, that, or the other supplement or herbal concoction, including, but not limited to, basic vitamins, A, B, C, anti-inflammatory herbs like ginger, turmeric, and bromelain, MSM and glucosamine, fish oil and vegetable-based omega-3 oil capsules, and collagen supplements, just to name a few. Unfortunately, the short answer is that most of this stuff beyond basic vitamins is basically pointless and a waste of money for various reasons we're about to explore, at least when it comes to healing tendon injuries like tennis elbow. But let's talk about the good stuff first. What are the essential nutrients we need when we have damaged tendons in need of healing? Now, to be clear, I'm not a nutritionist and I have no credentials in this area, but coming from a basic common sense perspective, I think vitamins C and D and simply getting adequate protein are the key nutritional components you need, to focus on. There's nothing wrong with thinking about vitamins A and B too, but these vitamins are very common in most foods. So let's talk about vitamins C and D. First of all, vitamin C is essential for tendon repair. Vitamin C is key. Why? Because our bodies can't synthesize or store it, and it's essential for the production of new collagen. And that's critical because collagen is the protein that our tendons are made of. They're at least 90% collagen. And new collagen is necessary to repair and replace the damaged tendon tissues that are causing us pain when we have golfers or tennis elbow. And given enough basic protein building blocks, plus vitamin C, our bodies can synthesize plenty of new collagen. Okay, I know what you're thinking probably. I get all the vitamin C I need from my diet. But do you? How many fresh, raw, vital fruits and vegetables are you really eating every day? Keep in mind that vitamin C is very heat sensitive, so a lot of it's destroyed during cooking, during pasteurization, and during other parts of industrial food processing, which is another excellent reason to eat more raw, unprocessed foods. Also keep in mind that C is water soluble and the body can't store it. The way I look at it, you can't really go wrong. Vitamin C is cheap, it's difficult to take too much of, and it's easier to be safe than sorry. Although I do pay a premium myself for the non-acidic vitamin C powder that I take. It's not ascorbic acid. That's the cheapest form of vitamin C. I take a calcium ascorbate, which has a pH of 0, which is the same as water. Now, there is some concern that if you're taking a lot of vitamin C, it can be hard on the stomach and kidneys in its highly acidic ascorbic acid form. Okay, now there's vitamin D. How is vitamin D important to your tennis elbow healing? Well, D is necessary for muscle strengthening, which is pretty much self-explanatory, and tendon to bone healing, which is often an issue with tennis elbow. Now, here's a quote from a medical paper, the link of which is in the accompanying article, or in the description if you're watching this as a YouTube video. I quote, "Vitamin D plays a significant role in the tendon to bone healing process by increasing the bone mineral density and strengthening the skeletal muscles." Now, this study had to do with the rotator cuff tendons of the shoulder and how they need to heal and form strong attachments to the bone after surgery. But the same principle may apply to tennis or golfer's elbow because we're dealing with a similar tendon attachment at our elbows. The tennis elbow spot where your wrist extensor muscles attach to this bony knob at your outer elbow called the lateral epicondyle, and the golfer's elbow spot where your wrist flexor muscle origin tendon, it's called, attaches to your medial epicondyle bony knob. Now, you may be thinking that, you get enough sun in the sunnier months, and besides, I get vitamin D from drinking milk and eating meat and eggs. Yeah, I would caution you to check that assumption. I'm seeing more and more references to the idea that a large percentage of the population is potentially vitamin D deficient. And as far as diet goes, it's true that they often fortify milk with vitamin D, and it's naturally present in meat and eggs. But here's the thing. The D produced by our own bodies in response to the UV type B radiation, typically from the sun, may be superior to that which we ingest, whether in food or supplements. I also have a couple of links to studies on that concept in the article. So if it's true that the vitamin D that we produce ourselves in response to the sun is better than what we take in pills or drops or consume as food, and if we need to get enough sun on our skin, exposed skin during the peak sunlight hours in order to get that key UVB, the ultraviolet B radiation exposure, how's that going to happen if most of our body's covered when we're outside, or we use high SPF sunblock, 20 plus, when we're not fully clothed outside? You're not going to get much vitamin D production if you're blocking most of the UV light all the time out of fear of getting overexposed. Now, I'm not saying be cavalier and risk getting burned, but don't fear the sun too much. Try to get some sun every day if you can. Just figure out what the right amount for you is with a little research, depending on the time of year, where you live in relation to the equator, and time your exposure carefully, before you cover up or slather on the SPF 50. Or if you can't get enough sun where you live or during the winter months, you might want to consider taking vitamin D3 drops, D3 being the most, best form of synthetic vitamin D as far as I can tell. Just keep in mind that D is fat soluble. Your body does store it up, and you have to be careful not to take too much of it. Now, let's talk about the things I'm going to suggest are a waste of time and money. Now, the first is anti-inflammatory herbs. I see a lot of references, and I'm often asked about the anti-inflammatory benefits of herbs like ginger, turmeric, and bromelain, which is more of a supplement being processed extract from pineapples. But I strongly caution you to be wary of any and all claims when it comes to the proven or even supposed anti-inflammatory properties, whether of drugs or herbs. It's not the taking of herbs that's the problem. They have nutritional and seasoning value and won't do you any harm in moderation. It's this false paradigm selling you the idea that inflammation is your enemy and something you need to treat and defeat that's the problem. As I've been preaching for 15 years or more, when you have an injury, inflammation is the first stage of healing. You can't heal a cut, torn muscle, or damaged tendon without the help of your body's natural and necessary inflammatory process. Don't let anyone tell you differently. So use all the turmeric and ginger in your food you want because, you take bromelain because it contains enzymes that help you digest protein better if you want. Just don't waste your money on supplements that have been formulated with turmeric and ginger and bromelains and so forth to supposedly reduce inflammation. Okay, so what about MSM and glucosamine? Glucosamine and MSM are two more money-sucking wastes as far as I can tell. And if you're about to protest, that there's evidence these supplements can help with joint problems like arthritis, I'm not arguing that. There's very well be something to that claim. And if you had arthritis, I'd probably say, hey, give it a shot. A lot of people say it works. But this is about tennis elbow and golfer's elbow. And these are not joint conditions. Golfers and tennis elbow are tendon conditions, and there doesn't seem to be any evidence that MSM or glucosamine sulfate help with tendon injuries. Too often we hear about something that works for a certain thing, and we want to assume or believe it also works for something similar. But joint and tendon conditions are not the same things. And I think if MSM and glucosamine helped even a little, I would have heard about it from at least a few of my patients over the years, having helped hundreds of tennis elbow sufferers. But no one's ever said they felt these supplements were helpful, even symptomatically. Nothing. So my recommendation is don't waste a penny on them. They tend to be kind of expensive, I think. Unless you have some arthritis or some other joint-specific condition. Next comes the fish oil and the omega-3 capsules. And the primary claim about the benefits of fish oil and vegetable-based omega-3 supplements for tennis elbow is the same as that for the herbs I mentioned earlier. Anti-inflammatory properties. And thus the rationale is flawed for the same reason. Because once again, inflammation, in the case of injured tendons anyway, is part of the healing process and not the problem with either tennis or golfer's elbow. Now, that's not to say that there's no benefits to eating foods like salmon or taking fish oil capsules or vegetable-based omega-3 supplements, consuming oils like flaxseed that are high in omega-3s. These omega-3 oils are essential fatty acids that your body can't synthesize or do without. I've been eating flax oil myself every day for almost 30 years for that reason. I actually started eating flax oil after trying cod liver oil in the hopes that it would help me with a tendon problem I was suffering from at the time. But I don't think it had any effect on it. But it did help me tremendously with the skin condition I used to have, however, and I've been eating it ever since. So go ahead and eat clean, healthy, low mercury, cold water fish like salmon, or take fish or flax oil for its overall nutritional value. Just don't eat it to take it to combat or reduce inflammation in the tendons of your golfer's or tennis elbow. And then finally we have collagen supplements. I've saved the worst for last because this is it's a completely illogical waste of your money, guaranteed. Now here's the warped logic. The idea is that since the injured tendons involved in golfer's or tennis elbow are composed of like 90+% collagen, one should take collagen in supplement form or eat foods high in collagen to nutritionally support the healing process. Sounds about right, huh? But this is the kind of faulty reasoning that's utterly ubiquitous in the gimmick selling industry. Sounds plausible, but it completely falls apart upon closer inspection. Yes, tendons are made of collagen, the most common form of protein produced by the human body. As we've established, so are ligaments, cartilage, spinal discs for that matter. And you do need to consume adequate protein in order to ensure that your body has enough protein to make new collagen, to repair your injured tendons. But it makes about as much sense to seek out and consume collagen specifically to build more collagen as it does to eat brains to become smarter. Actually, it's not quite that bad. Eating brains, they won't make you smarter. But collagen is protein, and eating protein will give you nutrients that you need to build more protein in your body. It's just that your body, in the process of digestion and assimilation, it breaks down all the complex proteins into their constituent building blocks, amino acids. Then your body takes those amino acids and builds them back together to form whatever type of complex protein your body needs to form new muscle cells or collagen fibrils or whatever. In other words, it's not a shortcut to eat collagen, because that foreign collagen from some other life form is not immediately available and usable to your body as it is. It's just going to get digested, broken down, and reassembled along with all the other proteins you're taking or eating, whether in the form of a steak, a handful of nuts, or a protein shake. So why spend all that extra money on expensive collagen supplements, especially considering what a common, cheap, and easy to come by nutrient protein is, more or less, in the first place? Okay, that's all I have to say for now on the topic of supplements for tennis elbow. If you have any comments or questions about other supplements, please leave a comment on YouTube if that's where you're watching this, along with a thumbs up if you found this helpful, and please subscribe to my channel. I also invite you to come on over to my site, tenniselbowclassroom.com, if you're not already here, and read the full article for more detail and for the links to the medical papers. And leave a comment or question if you want. Please check out my tennis elbow and golfer's elbow self-help programs while you're here, and subscribe to my free video course, Tennis Elbow 101, which is for both tennis and golfer's elbow. Get a crash course and learn the basics on these annoying, stubborn, confusing injuries from someone who's been successfully treating them for 15 plus years. Well, this is Alan Willett, your tennis elbow tutor, wishing you a speedy recovery. Let's break your vicious cycle.